All right, guys, welcome to the Meatball Trades channel. And we're just going to talk for a second to welcome you to the channel and tell you what we're about. If you're new here, we want you to know the mission is to spread knowledge that you can use anytime without me and without anyone to make some money. But let's talk about where the meatball came from. And we've been on a quest for knowledge our whole life. In my late 50s now and semi retired, rebuilding after a divorce and quitting my fancy job. And I might have taken it a little too far, isolating myself in the desert the last 6 months in a one bedroom to come up with some kind of trading scheme that I can duplicate, something that works instead of guessing and chasing and listening to other people. And I found it. I read stories and heard the stories and saw the interviews of others who had taken the path to learn how to trade and become millionaires, after 5 or 6 years of working on it. And I respect someone that puts that much time into it. I had traded before. I had a license many years ago, 20 years ago, but just a young kid pounding the phones. And, this time I started trading a couple years ago out of boredom and decided to get serious about it recently. And I wanted to come up with something that works. I had experienced dramatic weight loss. I had medical issues. My weight dropped from 190 to 128. That's a skeleton. I almost died. I spent 35 grand to find out I wasn't sick and there's nothing wrong with me. And so I isolated myself in the desert to learn how to trade stocks before I die. And almost starved to death and almost died, but I figured it out. I think I got something that's been working, and we've been posting it and sharing it. And the knowledge that's out there in the social media community is fantastic. There's some good teachers. I got Darth Trader on the screen. He's one of the first ones, the first one, I guess, that was my mentor or teacher, and didn't take a lot, but just a few comments here and there and a few pointers here and there. And just knowing that there's somebody in my corner that gives a rat's tail about me for 2 minutes once in a while was enough to keep me going and maybe keep me alive. And there's others. There's Kane Capital, and they're great guys. You should follow them. And Ace, the kid, or Jordan, has reached out to me more than once. Another good guy who's a millionaire. Doesn't need me, but he spent time to talk to me and coach me a little bit and give me words of encouragement. It's a great community. But the quest for knowledge I've been on started in kindergarten. If you watch short I have on that, my mother taught me how to read and count before I went to school, and so I was treated like a monster. And they hid me in the library in 3 different states and 3 different school systems, and I never sat through a full year of school in a classroom until I was in 5th grade. They just kept putting me in the library, and they'd bring me in for the tests and the quizzes, and I saw the kids picking their noses and doing the macaroni art drawings. But I was reading about how India broke off of South America millions of years ago and floated up through the ocean into crashed into Asia and formed the Himalayan mountains. That was like first or second grade for me. I don't know what you guys were doing. I was talking to older kids when they would come in the library and find out what they were doing, and then I would go pull it up on the Dewey Decimal card system and teach myself whatever the older kids were doing. And so then every year in school, sometime during the first week, first, second, third, fourth grade, they'd give us a test, and I'd finish in a minute and a half. They'd send me to the library, and that's where I went, to the library for years. And it's full of books, so that was their freaking mistake, because the books are full of knowledge, and I read them all, man. I didn't get to go to college after high school. My parents had divorced, and we didn't have the money, so we'll talk about that later. But I did get to go to college when I was 50 or 49. I graduated and I came in first. Thank you. So a lot of you guys are smart, super smart. And just because you didn't get to go to college does not mean that you're not smart. You are smart. You just didn't get to go to college. So that's it's okay. I mean, I had 7 houses and I was a stockbroker before I went to college. I owned several businesses before I ever got a business degree, right? So this is the kind of knowledge we want you to have. Knowledge in your head and a skill that can never be taken away from you. Okay. And we'll share it with you, both the mistakes and the winners, so that you can learn from both. We do talk about our mistakes, and there's some other great guys. There's a guy named Jake who has videos and a trading Discord, and he's kind of like me. He talks about the fact that he has bad habits, and maybe he's too hyper like me, and so he has some methods he uses to control his bad habits, and I talk about mine and post videos on them too. So it's not just all about picking winners, but we want to teach you basic setups and basic principles. Risk management is the one, right? But looking at the charts and being able to pick your own trades without somebody else in your head is what I accomplished in the 6 months of isolation in the desert. And I will pass these methods on to you for free in the hopes that you will have a skill no one can take away. And we had over bigger accounts over the last couple years. You can grow an account to 10 or 15 grand using a few $100. It can be done. And I love it when somebody won't quit and somebody thinks outside the box. And we all have heroes. And growing up, had heroes. I'm in my late 50s, so Evil Knievel. We watch him jump the fountains at Caesar's Palace when I was a little kid, and there was other heroes and TV shows like this one I would watch where they would just come up with take a pencil and a piece of string and make a laser beam out of it, some MacGyver type stuff. But they're thinking, right? They're not going to quit. Bruce Lee was a hero. He says you should be like water and flow and adapt to your surroundings. And we all have heroes, and we talk about those. Um, I got out of high school. I joined the Army and picked one of the messed up job skills, one of the most messed up ones you could get. 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. Uh, I kill tanks, guys, and that's my gunner Shannon up there. By the way, don't ever try to fight anybody from McCook, Nebraska. They will kick your ass. And a real hero, real life hero though, is Uncle Ralph. He flew 20 missions over Japan. That's my Uncle Ralph. And my parents donated that photograph. His plane's in a museum or a replica of it. All the stuff I did, was great, but there's always somebody that did more. And in my family, it was Uncle Ralph. Everybody joined the military for 3 generations trying to beat Uncle Ralph. Nobody ever did. I got a letter from General Ramey, 2 decorations from the president, and 5 rows of ribbons, but I still did not beat Uncle Ralph. God bless him. So whatever we did, somebody else did more, and somebody else had it harder, right? I used to have some money, or I thought I did. This is me just a few years ago, but when I was younger, I had the stockbroker thing going on, and I had 7 houses, and I built my first neighborhood when I was 32, and then you lose it all in a divorce, and then you start over, and we ended up with other nice houses like this one in the Rose Garden I used to have my coffee in. And if you want to be Mr. Big and you want to have stuff like that, I'm not going to take that away from you. I will help you get there. But it's not me anymore. I'm older now, and I'm on a mission to find my mother's family since I didn't get to know them growing up, and I haven't seen them in 50 years. And I know they're getting older, so I've moved up north where they are so I can find her brothers and sisters before they die and try to help them out as they get older. But if you want to be Mr. Big, I'll help you get there. And we can certainly talk about multiple streams of income, which is something I advocate. I do not encourage anybody to quit their job and trade stocks. Um, but if you get to that point in life, I would encourage you to have multiple streams of income. When I was a sergeant in the Army, I had rental houses. When I sold cars, I was publishing books. Um, Recently, when I had the government job, I had a tree cutting business on the side. And so always, always, always multiple streams of income, guys. My concerns now, leaving something for my daughter. Uh, this is her when she was little. She's got her first fish hanging there. She used to have assets and houses waiting for her, and those were all washed away through no fault of her own many years ago. And I've made that a goal recently as I faced death or thought I was facing death, and I may be beating it now. I'm gaining a little bit of weight. Up here in the Pittsburgh area and the Pennsylvania area, they eat pretty good cheesesteaks, and I think I made a right move by coming up here because I have put on a couple pounds. The food is fantastic and the girls are beautiful. But I'm going to try and build something for my daughter before I die and leave her something. And that's my goal. Whatever your goals are, that's awesome. And I'll support you on them. You don't have to be me. I don't want you to be me. I want you to be yourself. Okay. And just try to pass you on some knowledge that you can use to get to where you want to be, not where I want you to be. And that's one of the things that pissed me off and made me start this channel, was that one of the people I look up to posted something on Twitter that you're a loser if you talk about stuff you did in the past. I'm not going to call that person a loser, but I'm going to say that I was probably a mistake not to post that. You shouldn't have done that. You're telling your followers they're losers. I unfollowed you, sir, and I won't follow you again. And that's a shame because you were a good teacher. But I think your head's getting so big it can't fit through the door frame when you tell your followers they're losers. You guys be yourselves, okay? I'm not going to tell you to be like me. You can take the knowledge I give you, and I hope you do good with it, but it's your knowledge, and I give it to you freely. If this is you, don't follow me, okay? We all get scared, and we all have apprehensions. Risk management is important. Don't trade with the rent money, but I put out content for educational purposes, but I'm not stupid. I know people are going to try and trade with me. My risk tolerance is higher than yours. I guarantee it. Okay. I just recently abandoned everything that I own except a laptop and a dog, and it felt good. It did. It felt damn good. I had 3 lawnmowers and I don't know how many blowers and a whole house full of shit I didn't need. And leaving to drive to the desert with nothing but the stuff in my car. I have never felt freedom like that in my life, and it felt good that I could move anywhere I want to, and I did. 6 months later, I packed up and moved, and I could do it again tomorrow if I want to. The freedom that I've felt is incredible. I've never felt this freedom before, but and it took balls and it was scary. But we're going to run trades, and you're going to click the mouse and check your other screen, and you're going to be down 30 or 40%. You just lost 30% of your money as soon as we click the mouse. If we're trading options, it can get pretty scary, guys. And so if you get scared easily, or you're playing with money that you shouldn't be because you can't afford to lose it, don't trade with me, or don't trade what I'm trading, okay? My risk tolerance is different than yours. I guarantee it. I am a degenerate gambler. My dad took me to the horse track when I was 4 years old. And if that wasn't bad enough, he took me to Vegas when I was 5. And if that wasn't bad enough, I kill tanks. We jump on top of the tanks at Safwan Airfield with the bad guys still inside. There's 3 or 4 of them. There's only one of me, just a skinny little kid from Texas with a rifle running around on the ground during a tank battle while they're shooting at each other. And I'm jumping on top of the tanks. Hello, I'm on top of your tank and your hatch is open. And you ought to see their eyes pop out of their freaking head when they look up and you're looking down at them. And in the quarter horse, 1-4 Cav, we like to spray paint our name on the enemy tanks after we capture them to let everybody know who did it. If that wasn't bad enough, I was in 7th Cavalry, and that's Custer's unit, and they all died. And they still take it seriously, guys. They're ready to die every day. We don't care how many of you there are. We don't care, okay? And we'll die fighting. We just don't care, and they take it seriously, man. So my risk tolerance is different than yours. I've had money and lost it and made it back 2 or 3 times, okay? And I might have gone a little bit too far this time, giving my ex-wife the money from the sale of the house during the divorce, but she needed it, okay? And she doesn't have the skills and the knowledge and the degrees that I have. She needed it. So we're not going to talk bad about her, but I made a decision that I could rebuild with nothing. And I might have gone a little too far with it, but I'm making it now, thanks to people like Darth Trader and Ace, reaching out, telling me to hang in there. And thanks to other things like multiple streams of income. Pick up a gig as a substitute teacher with that college degree. Get a little bit of money so you can eat. Downsize, get rid of the big house. I did some things, and it's starting to turn around for me now. Okay. But if all that wasn't bad enough, we talk about risk tolerance. I grew up in San Antonio since I was 10 years old. In March of 1836, 140 of us stood against 5,000. We took 1,500 with us. We killed 10 for 1 in San Antonio, guys. We killed 10 for 1. We don't care how many of you there are. We're going to resist you. And we made them pay for that dirt, and they paid dearly. But with this kind of mentality, and my dad teaching me how to bet on horses when I was 4 years old, and then being in the army. And my risk tolerance is different than yours, guys. I've died a couple times. I've had 29 surgeries. I just don't care. I'm confident that you could take everything away from me and put me on a street corner, and I can have a job and a car, or at least an apartment, within 6 months, because I have knowledge. And that knowledge I will pass on to you so that you have a skill inside your head that no judge and no woman, and if you are a woman, you're more than welcome here. I have two daughters, but I'm just saying, during a divorce, a guy loses everything and thinks he's a loser, but you're not. If you have knowledge in your head, you can rebuild. And if you're a female and you want to have independence, for absolutely trade with us and take my knowledge. I have two daughters. You ladies are more than welcome here. Anytime, anytime, baby. You know, we're not going to quit. We're not going to ever quit. We're not going to quit trading. We're not going to quit fighting. We're never going to give up. As long as I breathe and walk this earth, I will not quit. Not quit trying to gain knowledge, not quit trying to get where I want to go. I will not quit helping other people. I will not stop spreading knowledge. And you can take strength knowing that there's always somebody out there, at least one person, that does care about you and wants to see you succeed and is willing to help you and share knowledge, you know. And you guys have come to the right place. I hope you enjoy our content, and I hope you stay with us a long time, guys, okay? God bless you.